All right, so just the other day we were celebrating Workers' Day. So the Metal Workers Union, Numsa, is continuing with Workers' Day celebrations, this time in Bloemfontein. The Numsa president and Andrew Chirwa and the national treasurer, Mphumzi Maqungo, will be attending the event and are expected to give a keynote address there. Let's cross live to SABC News reporter Konelo Lekhafola, who is joining us live now from Bloemfontein, and talk us through what's expected to take place there today, and what are some of the key issues, that workers want addressed, in particular by unions such as Numsa.
I'm losing you, Griselda.
All right, I seem to be having a bit of a connection problem there. We'll try to cross to my colleague. In fact, let me try this again. Konelo, I'm not sure if you're able to hear me this time. You're, of course, at that Workers' Day celebration. Numsa has taken it to Bloemfontein this time around. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, it's better.
All right, Konelo, thank you very much indeed. So what are we expecting from the celebrations there today? What are some of the key issues that workers will be raising with the union Numsa?
Yes, we are here in Bloemfontein, right at the CBD, at the headquarters of Maqungo Metropolitan Municipality. That's the venue for the event today, where Numsa is continuing with their celebrations for May Day. But with me, I'm having the spokesperson of Numsa, Phakamile Hlubi Majola, who will give us the overview and the details with regard to today's event. Phakamile, we are here in Bloemfontein, whereby you are continuing with the celebrations of May Day. Please give us the overview.
Thank you so much. And of course, we want to thank SABC for being here. This was really a big deal for us. We've made a concerted decision as a trade union that we are going to celebrate May Day for the entire month of May. And as a part of our celebrations of May Day, Numsa has been hosting what we call political inductions. Now, the first one started this week, which was in KwaZulu-Natal. That political induction is basically where we are welcoming new shop stewards into the organization, where we give them basically an understanding of Numsa's values. Numsa is a Marxist-inspired trade union, which means that we are a trade union that believes in socialism as a solution for society. So these inductions are really about educating members about what that means. But more than anything, it's also about making sure that workers have confidence, so that when they're engaging the employer on behalf of other workers, they're able to do so confidently, they're able to defend their fellow workers confidently, they're able to sort of understand what the labor laws are in relation to their rights in the workplace. So this is one of many of these events that are taking place. There's one that's also happening in Mpumalanga, and it's a process that the union embarks on every couple of weeks or every couple of months to make sure that shop stewards understand what their role and what their responsibilities are in the organization.
Yeah, if you can just maybe try to clarify this one for me. Your status, is your status that of a federation or a labor union? Because I see SAPU is here. What is your relation with SAPU? Are they affiliated to you or what?
So Numsa is a trade union. Okay, we do have a federation called SAFTU, which Numsa is a part of SAFTU, which is the federation. SAPU is a long-standing friend of Numsa. SAPU used to be a member of the federation. SAPU used to be a member of the federation. They're no longer a member of SAFTU. However, our relationship with SAPU, the South African Police Union, continues, which is why we've been holding events jointly. Even the May Day celebration that we had in KwaZulu-Natal, we held it together with SAPU. This one in Northern Cape is also being held together with SAPU. In fact, this is not the first time, specifically this region, Northern Cape and Free State region, they often hold joint events with SAPU and other progressive trade unions. And so, of course, we decided even for this one that they would like SAPU to participate.
What are some of the pressing issues that you as a union, as a trade union, are looking into and that you want to resolve for your workers who are your members?
Well, if you look at the most pressing issue at the moment, Numsa is currently engaged in negotiations in the engineering sector. Engineering actually happens to be the biggest sector for the union. So right now we have had already 2 rounds of negotiations with employers where we've presented our demands. We are in the process of negotiating what could possibly be a 2 or a 3-year deal. And we are hoping that we'll be able to find each other. The most burning issue for workers, I think, is just the issue of just being able to survive. I think I don't have to tell you that the economic situation in this country is very, very bad. Unfortunately, the economy is not performing well at all. If you add the problem of load shedding, if you add the problem of water cuts, it's really putting a lot of stress on workers. The day-to-day cost of living is very, very, very high. So those are really the burning issues that are affecting members, plus the fear of unemployment. We've got extremely high unemployment levels in this country. Any worker who is lucky enough to be working is usually supporting 5 to 6 unemployed family members. So those are some of the things that workers are constantly worried about. And this is why it's important for us to have sessions like the session we're having today to allow workers to reflect on these challenges and also to allow the union to come and assist in trying to find viable solutions so that we can ensure that we continue to do the work that we have to do, which is to defend workers, to defend their wages and to defend their conditions and their benefits.
It may seem that the unemployment, as you have correctly mentioned, that is one of the biggest problems and challenges that is facing the country as we speak. How do you think, as Numsa, that unemployment can be combated and be defeated?
First and foremost, one of the things that this government, the mistakes that this government is making is to privatize state-owned entities. The role of a state-owned entity is to create jobs. If you think about the fact that these state-owned entities, all of them were created under the dark days of apartheid. Now, as racist and as backward as the apartheid government was, they were smart enough to recognize that state-owned entities create thousands of jobs. They don't just create jobs in a company. They actually establish value chains. A perfect example is SAA. When South African Airways was performing at its best before the business rescue process that happened, South African Airways contributed more than 24,000 jobs along the value chain. So besides the 10,000 direct jobs that it employed, there were more than 24,000 families that benefited from the existence of SAA. That no longer exists now because they're trying to privatize SAA. Most of the companies that were depending on SAA have actually shut down as a result of the changes that happened at SAA. The same with Eskom. Eskom employs at its best, it was employing over 30,000 employees. Now they are busy privatizing SAA. And as I speak to you now, workers are losing their jobs. They've already, for example, shut down certain parts of Eskom. You know that they've shut down, for example, Komati Power Station, which for us was one of the major mistakes of this government, because not only did they take away more than 2,000 megawatts of power when they did that, but they actually destroyed all the jobs that were directly feeding into the economy of Mpumalanga. If you go there today, many of the people in that area who were depending on the jobs when Komati was running are now jobless, and there's no plan for them. So what we need is a government that's going to stop privatizing SOEs, because SOEs are job creators, number one. Number two, we need a government that's going to have an expansionary budget that's going to allow for manufacturing to be developed. Manufacturing as a sector is a way to actually generate jobs. Unfortunately, we've seen over the last 20, 30 years a serious deindustrialization. We've seen thousands of jobs shutting down in manufacturing, and of course this has been worsened by the issue of load shedding. So if we can solve load shedding, if we can stop privatizing SOEs, we can really actually start to tackle unemployment in a meaningful way, and that will assist with the jobs crisis that we have today.
With the very same challenge of unemployment and Section 189 that we have seen in many of the companies, state-owned entities, some of them, how is that affecting your membership in the sector in which you as Numsa are involved?
It's definitely affecting our members. There is not a single union that is not affected by high levels of retrenchments that are taking place. The majority of the retrenchments that are taking place, especially for us anyway, when you look at the notices that we're getting, it's primarily because of a lack of guaranteed energy supply. Until we solve this issue of electricity, unfortunately we are going to continue to see particularly small and medium-sized companies shutting down. Most small and medium-sized companies cannot afford the cost of diesel. They cannot afford generators. They were established depending on an Eskom which in its heyday was providing regular electricity. So the fact that we have problems with load shedding, this has had a very negative impact on many small and medium-sized companies. So if we really want to tackle unemployment in a meaningful way, we need to support small and medium-sized companies, and the best way to do that is to fix the infrastructure, fix the electricity infrastructure, invest in Eskom, invest in coal-fired power stations, because South Africa has an abundance of coal. So why are we not being allowed to depend on coal to fire up our economy? One of our biggest problems which Numsa has identified is the fact that this government has been listening to international financial institutions who are saying to them, stop depending on coal, depend on renewable energy. But this doesn't work for us.
Okay. Finally, as we are concluding our discussion here, we are heading to the general elections, national and provincial elections. We have seen you in the past taking part in participating in the elections. What are you doing this time around?
The Socialist Revolutionary Workers' Party, which is a party that the trade union gave birth to, will not be participating in these elections. So for now, the union has not officially pronounced on which political party workers should support. But I think it's common knowledge that since 2013, Numsa has not supported ANC. So that is the position of the organization.
Thank you very much, my sister. Phakamile Hlubi Majola is the spokesperson of Numsa, giving us the details and the overview of the event happening here in Bloemfontein today. And with that, back to you in studio.
All right, Konelo, thank you very much indeed. Live to us, of course, from Bloemfontein. Thanks indeed for your time.